regulated. You need to leave this area because you are being told by a constable to leave this area. And as my colleagues have said, if you don't, we will eject you under the 24-hour bylaws rules because you're now causing a disturbance.
I'm not causing a disturbance.
You are.
I haven't.
You're taking up
If you,
police officers.
I've not called you.
You have.
Yeah.
No, Segro have, because you're filming in a restricted area, which is.
Why are you getting angry?
Because you're starting to annoy me now.
You're not listening to what we're saying.
Oh my good God.
In today's episode, AI_audits is on a publicly accessible road adjacent to a cargo depot near Heathrow. The auditor, AI_audits, is there with a camera and tripod, intending to film a documentary about the former Menzies World Cargo Building, the site of a famous armed robbery years ago. After informing a receptionist and a security guard of his peaceful intentions, PC Gardner and her colleague PC34, the tone quickly shifts from inquisitive to confrontational.
The reception, she said, crack on. Yeah, it's not really,
Right,
you know, like it's not, we don't care, you know, because there's been, if you search on the internet, there's been loads of...
I think if we spoke to their head of security, they would have a problem. And I'm just explaining, obviously, at the end of the day, we all know that an airport is a critical site with regards to terrorism and things like that. Now, I'm going to ask you in a minute for proof that you're doing a documentary. I don't disbelieve you, but obviously, you could be anybody telling me this right at this stage of the conversation.
Okay.
And I don't know, currently, that you are. And
I've told you I am.
I know, but I haven't seen no proof of that.
Today's encounter takes us right into the heart of one of the most hotly debated issues in modern Britain, the clash between citizen journalism and police authority. Our auditor, standing on what appears to be a publicly accessible road near Heathrow Airport, is filming for a documentary. What begins as a calm conversation with staff quickly escalates when police officers arrive, invoking terrorism laws, trespass, and airport bylaws to try and shut him down. But here's the question. Are the police upholding security or overstepping their authority? Stay tuned, because you'll see allegations of hostile reconnaissance, disputed bylaws, threats of ejectment, and ultimately, a powerful lesson about your rights when facing police demands. This isn't just about one man with a camera. It's about where the line is drawn between public accountability and state power. Let's break it down. Right here, we see the first dramatic shift. The officers immediately frame the auditor as causing a disturbance, even though he's calmly filming on a road.
Your purpose. Nobody else's purpose.
Yeah, my purpose, yeah.
But you're not allowed to be.
You believe you're right. That's okay.
I know I'm right. I don't believe it.
Shall I go and get the security manager for Menzies
To be honest with you,
he's got a problem with that?
you can do, I'm going to carry on and do whatever.
You to leave under the bylaws. We have a 24-hour rule.
I know you do.
We can ask you to eject you off the airport.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask you to do that. I'm
Okay.
going to take details
You're not.
under the
You won't be taking my details for anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, there's bylaws in place where when it comes...
This is a textbook tactic, labeling lawful activity as disruptive to create justification for removal. Notice how quickly the officer's tone moves from calm explanation to outright frustration. This isn't just about location, it's about power dynamics. The moment an officer says, "You are causing a disturbance," it changes the narrative from civil disagreement to potential legal grounds for enforcement. But does filming alone equal disturbance? That's the core tension we'll be revisiting. This is a fascinating legal pivot. The officer demands proof of a documentary, almost as if filming requires prior approval. But the law in the UK doesn't say you need credentials to record in public. Whether you're a journalist, YouTuber, or just a curious passerby, your rights are the same.
No, that doesn't state that.
I promise you it's
A person
not.
shall, if requested to do so by a constable or airport official, state his correct name and address and the purpose of this being on the airport. That is under 10(1). That doesn't have to be committing an offence.
You need to read the whole paragraphs though.
I am.
You can't
look,
just take
look,
out.
Look, I'm showing you.
Read it.
Read it. A person,
I don't need to read this. I know.
She's pointing it out
I know,
because it is a
but-
bylaw.
It is a bylaw.
Yeah. Okay.
So you don't-
If I'm breaking laws.
No, it doesn't
doesn't
say
say.
that.
Okay.
So, sir, are you going to leave?
Once I finish what I'm doing.
I'm going to call the security manager for Menzies and see if he's got a problem with it.
This "prove who you are" argument flips the burden unfairly. The auditor doesn't have to prove legitimacy. The police must prove illegality. The officer's tone suggests suspicion rooted more in discomfort than in actual law. And this is where misunderstanding morphs into overreach. Here's where things get really intense. The officers escalate by invoking hostile reconnaissance, a term straight out of counterterrorism law. That phrase alone immediately raises the stakes, shifting the situation from routine trespass to potential terrorism. But think carefully. Does a man openly filming on a tripod, after speaking to staff, really match the behavior of someone covertly gathering intelligence for a terror plot? Even police guidance warns against casually throwing around this charge without strong evidence. Yet here it's used as a scare tactic. The power of language here cannot be overstated. It transforms perception instantly. And now, we see the fallback argument: trespass. The police correctly identify the land as private, but the law is crystal clear. Basic trespass is a civil issue.
Even in this location, and that no Menzies are no longer in Sandringham Road. Obviously he feels that he doesn't need permission from Menzies to film your building.
You definitely need.
I don't.
You do?
I don't.
Because it's a
Listen, I think
security
you
and
should...
a regulated site.
Yeah.
It's regulated
Okay.
by the civil aviation.
Yeah.
So you cannot be filming in this area.
I think, you need to explain to him, Civil Aviation Authority, this is what he's just quoted, have no power over me filming. Yeah, they don't, there's no law from Civil Aviation Authority to say I can't film, yeah, which I know this pretty much for sure, I don't even need to check. Now, legally, I can film anything I can see with my eye. Anything.
Airports are
Airports
very,
are
very
different.
different.
I do understand this.
It's not a crime. That means the police don't automatically have power to arrest or eject unless there's a breach of peace or aggravated trespass, which requires intimidation or obstruction. Here, the auditor is literally standing on a path, not blocking anyone. Yet the officers treat the bylaws like a criminal codebook. This is a subtle but important legal overreach, turning civil disputes into pseudo-criminal enforcement. This is the turning point. The police repeatedly cite bylaws as if they grant unlimited power, but the actual text contains that critical word, unless. Unless a disturbance is caused, unless an offense is about to be committed, the power to demand departure or identity simply doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Auditors.
Which I'm not. Yeah. So
Again, we can argue that all day long.
I don't need to argue it. I know myself what I'm doing.
This is very boring now.
So, exactly. So go and
Sun
get on
Road,
with your
that's
job.
fine. You can film what you want on Sun Road.
No, I go to here.
If you go to there,
That
we will,
car,
listen,
yeah.
if you go to there, we're going to put you in the van, we're
You
going
won't.
to inject you to Hatton Cross.
You're gonna where?
Inject you under the 24-hour rule to Hatton Cross train station.
You're
You've got
gonna
no
put me in a
lawful
van?
reason of being in this bit.
I have.
No, we're asking
My
you.
lawful reason
Listen,
is
we're
to make a
asking you
film.
to leave of your own accord, but you're refusing to. That's the difference.
You won't be putting me to no van, and you won't be
we'll
kidnapping
walk
me.
then to the
Yeah.
southern perimeter
I will
road,
walk.
and there won't be a problem.
Right. So I'm going to show to you.
No, we've just told you.
No,
I
the
told
stop
you.
it.
Perimeter
Yeah.
road. You'll see
Listen.
the signs as you come in.
Listen. Stop all this. Yeah. You need to stop all this.
And that's the heart of the problem. Officers rarely quote the whole law. By trimming out conditions, they expand their authority beyond what Parliament intended. The auditor catches this instantly, pushing back and demanding clarity. This moment highlights the power of knowing the exact wording of laws used against you. Now we're at the most chilling moment, the threat of forced removal. The officers talk about putting the auditor in a van and driving him to a train station under the so-called 24-hour bylaw.
Why are you getting angry?
Because you're
Because
starting
you're not
to
listening to
annoy me
us.
now.
You're not listening to what we're
Oh
telling you.
my good God. Yeah. Don't get angry.
Right,
Yeah.
on your way out, look at the sign and you'll see for yourself. Simple as that.
Right.
Right?
If, yeah, I'm going to use the word if you attempt to put me in the police van,
Yeah.
then I will make a civil claim.
That's
Okay.
absolutely
Okay?
fine.
Yeah, I know it's fine, but it doesn't come out of your money.
No.
Yeah, it comes out of taxpayers' money.
Yeah.
So you don't really care,
believe-
really.
what we're
But you're
telling you
wasting
is,
taxpayers'
so
money
I'm not.
now. Here,
It's
you're
our
No, I'm
honest
not.
belief
wasting
what we're
people's
telling
No,
you.
time.
is
you're
the
wasting
truth.
your own time, you are.
No, mate,
Yeah,
because
you're
I'm
getting
being
rather aggressive. You're
I'm
getting
not
rather
being
angry.
aggressive, Blake.
You
You haven't
are.
seen me being
Yeah.
aggressive.
I don't want to see you aggressive
No,
either,
exactly,
to be honest.
you don't.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
So this man told me I'm allowed to film over there.
And we're
So that's
telling
where
you-
I'm going to
No,
film.
No,
No,
he
he didn't say
didn't.
that.
He did say that.
I didn't say
You did say
film.
that.
No,
You said
I
I'm
did
allowed
not
to
say
be over
film.
there, yeah?
Yeah. But as a constable now, I'm telling you to leave under the ejectment 24-hour.
Under what?
The ejectment
Yeah.
24-hour bylaw rule.
Yeah.
You've told us
Under
that-
what bylaw is this?
You've
Under
told
what
us that you're
section
up
is
to
this?
scratch with the
Told you
bylaw.
it's
Tell me the section this is.
10.1.
Tell me the section of this, yeah?
10.1.
Tell me the section of this.
10.1.
Under 10.1.
Right. We're
Like
asking
said,
you
said
politely.
The bylaws in the
Sir,
back.
we're asking politely.
Yeah.
Okay, we've explained the reasons you're not allowed to be here. Okay.
Which I
We're asking you
disagree with.
politely with the signs for the bylaws.
Let's pause. That's essentially a detention and transport without formal arrest. If the original order to leave was unlawful, then everything that follows could amount to assault or even false imprisonment. Yet the casual way it's presented, almost routine, shows how such powers can be misapplied. This is where legality collides with raw intimidation. The threat alone is often enough to compel compliance. So what did this case teach us? First, filming in public is not a crime, and demanding proof of purpose flips the law on its head. Second, trespass is usually civil, not criminal. Third, police powers under bylaws are conditional, not absolute, and should never be misrepresented. And finally, threats of forced removal show how quickly questionable authority can become coercive. This wasn't just an argument at Heathrow, it was a live-fire test of civil liberties. If you found this case as shocking as we did, hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping breakdowns of real-life legal drama.